and radio.com.
Welcome back to the Dan Proft Show, along with Amy Jacobson, Dan and Amy.
we have a new name? I love it.
Yeah, I was looking at
like
something
the morning
for my
Zoo
show.
Crew.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Your show. Like you're cheating on me with your show. Which now you can download on the AM 560 The Answer website, right?
That's the app.
Your
even.
podcast, the app?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have these thing called apps now. Have you heard about them?
Wait, is that near the Instagrams?
Yeah.
That's an app too?
Yeah.
So I can listen to you at night and then I could wake up with you in the morning.
Right.
Hey-oh. Yes.
Yeah, after you're done playing records on your turntable, you can listen to me. So the Chinese economy on life support, it's taken a hammering. And Stephen Mosher argues in the New York Post that it's time to turn off the ventilator, which is, well, that's the headline. That's not quite his argument, but you get the point. You get directionally which way he's heading, which is easy to say, but it's certainly not without controversy, as supply webs for American companies still include China, as China still has 1 billion people, as China still is a major player in the world in terms of its economy, despite what they have done to cover up the spread of this virus and cost hundreds of thousands of lives worldwide as a result. So let's dig into it a bit with Stephen Mosher, president of the Population Research Institute, expert on the Chinese communists, and author of Bully of Asia, Why China's Dream is the New Threat to World Order. Stephen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's good to be with you this morning, Dan and Amy.
Thank you. And so, again, we've seen the Chinese economy take a hit under President Trump pre-COVID-19 outbreak, and now they report that their economy shrank almost 7% in terms of GDP between January and March of this year. So probably, given the Chinese propaganda, you have to multiply that by 2 or 3 for an accurate number. But regardless of what the number is, they've definitely taken an economic hit. And how should we respond, do you think, to the hammering they're taking while we're taking our own?
Well, the Chinese economy has suffered a supply-side hit. Now it's suffering a demand-side hit. The supply-side hit was when they quarantined all the workers, told them to go home, not come to work. They lost a month or more of production. Now it's a demand-side hit because, the Communist Party can order its workers back to work, even if they drop dead on the line from the China virus. But they can't order foreigners to buy Chinese-made goods, and the foreign orders just aren't coming in. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to buy any Chinese-made goods ever again if I can avoid it. I would sooner do without. And the reason is that made in China goods aren't as cheap as they once seemed to be. They're cheap. They were cheap for 20 years, because China cheated on trade. It devalued its currency. It allowed the workers no rights. So you can't organize a labor union in China, of course. You can't organize a chess club without the Communist Party's permission. And they tore up their own environment. The air is polluted, the water is polluted in China. And of course, you can make very cheap products if you do that.
To that point, though, if I could just stop you there, to that point, if China is faltering under the internal contradictions of its own policy choices, of its own bad actions, then do we need any national policy in that direction? Won't they just continue to falter under their own weight and the free choices that Americans and American companies make?
Well, we should be making. I think 80% of Americans now understand the danger of China. It's not just military or economic or trade or cyber espionage. The danger is also danger to their health and well-being. So the cost of Chinese-made goods, if you factor in the trillions of dollars of lost economic growth in the United States and the tens of thousands of lives lost, those made-in-China goods don't seem so cheap anymore, do they? So no. I think we can do some things. We can revise the country of origin laws so that the made in China country of origin is printed loud in big letters on the cover of all the goods, so that Americans can make a choice whether or not to buy goods from the country that released this virus on the world. And we've got India now opening up an area the size of Connecticut as a special economic zone. India's population is going to exceed that of China. Its economic prospects are brighter than China. I think a lot of manufacturing will naturally move to India, a democratic country that shares our values and institutions in large part. Let's encourage that.
But Stephen, so I know, how do we, besides the opening in India, how can we convince American companies to get out? In Japan, their government paid their Japanese companies $1 billion to get their companies out of that area. Should we do the same here?
Yeah, we can do it in different ways, but the idea is the same. The Japanese are actually saying to their companies, if you have a factory in China, move it elsewhere, we'll pay the moving costs. And the Japanese government is saying, you don't have to move it back to Japan. You can move it to the United States, Canada, the Philippines, and move it anywhere, just leave China. And so I think we've already seen supply chains relocating and factories moving out of China over the last few years because of this administration has gotten tough on trade issues. I think that's going to accelerate now, and we ought to be speeding that along. Let's let countries, if they want to move a factory out of China, expense all the expenses, which means they can deduct it from their taxes. That's a way of covering the cost as well without paying them directly.
Yeah, okay. That second part I like a little bit better than the Japanese model because I hear what you're saying and I don't disagree with the disposition, but I don't want to be in the business of telling Apple where they can or cannot locate.
Yeah, and Apple doesn't have factories in China. They use suppliers, right? They use subcontractors, and called Foxconn for the most part, which is a Taiwan company. Foxconn can easily move its factories back to Taiwan or the Philippines. That would be on Foxconn. That wouldn't be on Apple. Apple just has to tell Foxconn, we'd really prefer if you assemble our products elsewhere from China. And they can do that. And it doesn't mean closing down every last factory in China. Maybe they can keep a couple open to supply the Chinese demand. But look, Chinese right now are blaming the China virus on us. They're saying it was made in the U.S. biolab. It was deliberately used to infect China. And that's the story that they're telling the Chinese people, believe it or not.
No,
so
right.
American products in China are not going to be selling very well in the future.
What do you think about the prospect that the Chinese communists will make President Xi the fall guy? He'll have to fall on a sword so that they can paper over what happened, what they did, the propaganda after the fact, as you were describing, and because they're going to need some sort of event that suggests that we've put the actions that we took behind us and we're charting a new course so we can be part of the international community, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's a very interesting prospect. Somebody will have to pay a price for China's misdeeds. Right now, of course, as I mentioned, they're trying to shift the blame onto the United States, which no one, I think, outside of China will buy. But there are a lot of 20-somethings and 30-somethings in China who don't know much about the outside world and who believe this kind of propaganda. A lot of unrest, I think, within the top echelon of the Chinese Communist Party itself. We don't see that very much in the news because it's all maneuvering in secret. It's all Machiavellian backroom deals, But there's some senior people have been arrested in China. A senior police official, the number 2 guy in the Ministry of State Security, is behind bars now. Senior party officials are disappearing. So we know there's a factional struggle going on. We probably won't know the outcome until either Xi Jinping is deposed and under house arrest and a new leader is announced, or a whole bunch more people go to jail.
Well, the good news about all this is that America has done a top-down review of all things related to the Chinese communists and Chinese influence in this country, from their Confucius Institutes influencing higher education to the companies that provide drones to the states to obviously a much bigger issue that's been an issue prior to this, Huawei and our 5G, the construction of a 5G network. So everything is under review, and I suppose that's long overdue.
Well, it is. There's a lot of what we might call dark money that's gone into American colleges and universities over the last 20 years. This money was deliberately used to encourage those universities to hire Chinese apologists in key faculty positions, to make them amenable to opening Confucius Institutes on their campuses. We should really call those Mao Zedong Institutes or Xi Jinping Institutes, because they have nothing really to do with China's ancient sage. They have everything to do with China's modern effort to to become the number one player in the world. Sunlight is a great disinfectant, as we all know from the last few weeks, and the Department of Education is insisting that colleges and universities reveal where the money is coming from, and a lot of it's coming from China, and it's very corrupting.
Now, you mentioned and you argued that the reckoning must begin now because China's presently actively and deliberately making the pandemic worse. How are they doing so?
Well, I was asked yesterday if what China did right and what China did wrong in terms of spreading the pandemic. And in fact, everything they've done has helped to spread the pandemic. They bought up all the PPE and face masks in January when they knew they had a problem. And then they've been selling it back to the world at exorbitant prices or using it to curry favor with poor African countries that really have no primary health care available for their people. So every step of the way, they're still misleading us about the figures. They're still misleading us about the origin of the virus. They destroyed the early samples of the virus, which is how you would trace it back to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where I and a lot of people now believe it leaked from. That was supposed to be a level 4 lab. It was actually being run as a level 2, which is a low containment lab. I would argue it was being run as a no containment lab because it did not contain the deadly virus that leaked out by infecting a lab worker there.
He is Stephen Mosher, president of the Population Research Institute, Chinese communist expert, and author of Bully of Asia, Why China's Dream is the New Threat to World Order. Stephen Mosher, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you this morning.
Take care.
Yeah. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other major medical carriers. If you're 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. In Chicago, the least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $570 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,150 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $480 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $5,650 in total out-of-pocket cost per person with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Golf has returned to Illinois. Illinois is home to some of the best golf courses in America, and Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock is one of them. Golf Digest ranks Bull Valley as one of the top 30 most challenging golf courses in America, and it most certainly is. But Bull Valley isn't just a golf club, it's a golf experience. Dan Proft here, Bull Valley Golf Club is now home to the best membership value in Illinois as well. It's a family-friendly club with great food, amazing teaching pros, and 37,000 square feet of event space. I like Bull Valley so much I became a member. If you're looking for a club to join, club owner Gary Rabine and I want to invite you to experience the best value in championship golf in Illinois. Give Gary a call at 815-693-9706. If you're interested in membership, Gary will host you and up to 3 of your friends to play a complimentary round of golf at Bull Valley. This offer is limited to the first 30 groups who make a reservation to play before May 31st, for the end of the month. Call 815-693-9706. Even though I'm in Chicago, by the way. This is out in Woodstock, but it's worth it. It's worth the travel. This is a top flight club offering and a great deal. When you call Gary, ask about the membership stay and play opportunities as well. This is a great course and a great golf experience. The number 815-693-9706.
Get your head out of the sand. This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. I'm talking to business professionals, those entrepreneurs who've already shown they have more courage and guts than 99% of everyone else, but you've run into a problem, the IRS. I can show you how to retake control of your life and rebuild your success, how you can stop worrying about the IRS so you can grow your business, improve your marriage, strengthen your family, and protect your reputation. You got to decide right now to solve your IRS problem so you can sleep better, maintain your health, and enhance your love life. I wrote the book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today.